Battle of the Planets was not just a colorful sci-fi cartoon. It was a brutal act of cultural surgery designed to make Japanese storytelling safe for American television. What audiences never see is the panic inside television studios. Executives arguing over death scenes, editors cutting entire episodes apart, voice actors rewriting history in real time. Here are 15 wild facts about Battle of the Planets. And one final secret is so strange it almost rewrites the meaning of the show itself. Fact number 15. Battle of the Planets begins as something far darker than American audiences ever imagine. The original Japanese series Gatchaman is violent, bleak, and openly political. Characters die, cities burn, consequences linger. When American producers acquire the footage, panic sets in. Saturday morning television standards collapse under the weight of what they see. It is not too intense. It is too honest. Editors slash entire storylines. Death becomes disappearance. Blood becomes sparks. Mourning becomes silence. What remains is not a translation, but a reconstruction. New narration is layered over old animation to guide young viewers away from danger. The result feels clean, but something vital is missing. What audiences watch is not the original story. It is a carefully defanged version shaped by fear of complaints and sponsors. A heroic surface hides a wounded core. Fact number 14. The Robot Companion. 7 exists for one reason only: to replace death. In the original series, characters openly die and missions fail. American broadcasters refuse this outright. So producers invent a mechanical overseer who constantly assures the audience that no one is really hurt. Every explosion becomes survivable. Every crash becomes temporary. This is not a creative decision. It is a defensive one. 7 talks endlessly to explain away danger. His presence fractures tension. Drama dissolves the moment it appears. What should feel tragic becomes instructional. What should feel frightening becomes safe. Viewers sense this dissonance even if they cannot name it. The robot is not part of the story world. He is part of the censorship process. A narrative patch sewn over wounds, the show is not allowed to show. Fact number 13. The voice actors are not simply performers. They are emergency responders. Scripts arrive incomplete and sometimes incoherent. Entire scenes no longer match what the characters say or do. Actors record lines that must redirect emotion without rewriting animation. They explain explosions mid-sentence. They soften grief with authority. This is not acting. It is damage control. Sessions stretch long and exhausting. There is no luxury of subtlety. Every line must clarify or reassure. Every delivery must steer meaning away from danger. What audiences hear is calm and confident. What happens in the booth is frantic and technical. Timing matters more than feeling. Sync matters more than truth. The voices become the glue holding a fractured story together. It is invisible labor. Without it, the show collapses completely. Fact number 12. Battle of the Planets feels episodic, but it is actually a heavily broken serial narrative. Gatchaman is designed as an evolving war story. Relationships change. Loss accumulates. Enemies adapt. American edits erase that structure. Episodes air out of order. Emotional continuity disappears. Characters react to events viewers never see. This creates a strange, hollow rhythm. Action happens without weight. Victory feels temporary and repetitive. Young audiences sense confusion without understanding why. What should feel like escalation becomes a loop. The story never truly moves forward. This is not because the source material lacks depth. It is because depth is considered dangerous. The show survives on spectacle alone. Underneath lies a serialized epic that never reaches American screens intact. Fact number 11. The cultural impact of Battle of the Planets is paradoxical. It introduces anime-style storytelling to American kids while actively hiding what makes anime powerful. Viewers fall in love with the designs, the teamwork, the sense of scale, yet they never experience the emotional risks that define the genre. This creates a generation hungry for something deeper without knowing its source. Years later, fans discover the original series and feel shock, not disappointment, recognition. Suddenly, moments that felt empty make sense. The show becomes a gateway drug, not because of what it shows, but because of what it withholds. Battle of the Planets does not deliver anime. It plants the need for it, and that need quietly reshapes Western animation forever. Fact number 10. The mid-production panic around Battle of the Planets changes how American television treats imported animation forever. Executives fear backlash from parents' groups and advertisers. They do not want letters. They do not want phone calls. They do not want headlines. Entire guidelines are rewritten after this show airs. What audiences do not know is that this series becomes a case study in how not to scare children. Censors analyze reactions episode by episode. Notes flood in about tone language and implied violence. This pressure shapes future imports for decades. If you are enjoying these revelations, go ahead and like and subscribe, because every cartoon you grew up with is quietly influenced by the chaos this show creates behind the scenes. Battle of the Planets is not just edited. It becomes a warning label inside the industry. Fact number 9. The music of Battle of the Planets hides another layer of compromise. The original score is moody, restrained, and sometimes mournful. It treats space as dangerous and lonely. American producers reject this immediately. They want energy, not dread. A new score is commissioned that pushes heroism at all costs. Brass swells replace silence. Danger is drowned in triumph. This is not about taste, it is about control. Music directs emotion faster than dialogue. By changing the score, the producers reshape how children feel about war, sacrifice, and loss. What audiences hear is excitement. What they do not hear is grief. The original intent vanishes under optimism. The show sounds brave even when the images say otherwise. It is emotional misdirection done with rhythm and volume. Fact number 8. The costumes and character designs survive censorship but not context. Gatchaman uniforms are meant to feel militarized and severe. They represent a last line of defense. In Battle of the Planets, they become colorful costumes stripped of ideology. The sharp edges remain, but the meaning disappears. Characters look prepared for war, but speak like mascots. This creates an uncanny tone. Children sense seriousness without understanding why. The designs promise danger, the dialogue denies it. This visual contradiction becomes iconic. Artists and animators later cite the show as inspiration because it looks more mature than it behaves. That tension plants seeds for future action animation. The show accidentally proves that aesthetics alone can signal depth even when storytelling is restrained. Style becomes the silent rebel. Fact number 7. One of the strangest consequences of Battle of the Planets is how it trains viewers to read between the lines. Kids notice moments that feel wrong, explosions that feel fatal, pauses that feel heavy, characters that should mourn but do not. This creates an early instinct for subtext. Young viewers learn that television lies politely. What is shown is not always what is meant. This accidental media literacy becomes powerful. Fans grow up questioning edits and motives. They search for originals. They seek truth behind versions. The show teaches skepticism without intending to. It is not a lesson plan. It is a byproduct of censorship. Battle of the Planets becomes an early education in how stories are controlled. Fact number 6. When fans finally rediscover the original Gatchaman. Years later, the reaction is emotional and intense. This is not nostalgia. It is revelation. Scenes once confusing now land with devastating clarity. Characters regain agency. Loss finally has weight. Viewers realize they were not imagining darkness as children. It was always there. It was just hidden. This retroactive understanding reframes childhood memories. Battle of the Planets becomes a ghost version of a fuller story. Fans feel both gratitude and betrayal. Gratitude for the introduction, betrayal for the dilution. The legacy splits in two. One version that protected children, another that respected them. That divide still defines how animation is debated today. Fact number 5. Battle of the Planets quietly rewires how American kids understand heroism. In the original series, heroism costs something. Characters doubt themselves. Victories feel temporary. In the edited version, heroism becomes constant and painless. The team always survives. The mission always resets. This creates a fantasy of consequence-free bravery. It is not intentional propaganda. It is structural damage. What audiences absorb is a world where courage has no aftermath. That idea bleeds into other cartoons that follow. Risk becomes visual, not emotional. Sacrifice becomes implied, not shown. This shift changes expectations for action storytelling. Danger becomes decoration. Battle of the Planets helps normalize spectacle without fallout. The heroes win, but never change. And that absence shapes a generation of animated protagonists. Fact number 4. The editing process produces accidental surrealism. Scenes cut mid-motion. Reactions do not match events. Characters speak calmly over devastation. This creates a dreamlike tone that feels unreal. Not fantasy, but dislocation. Editors are not aiming for art. They are racing against deadlines and broadcast standards. Yet the result feels uncanny. Kids sense something is off. The world looks dangerous but behaves politely. This contradiction gives the show its haunting quality. It sticks in memory not because of plot, but because of atmosphere. Battle of the Planets becomes unforgettable precisely because it never fully makes sense. The edits leave scars in the rhythm. Those scars linger longer than clarity ever could. Fact number 3. Merchandising pressure influences storytelling decisions. Toys require consistent designs and repeatable scenarios. Characters cannot age or suffer visible damage. Vehicles must return intact. This reality limits narrative freedom even further. The show is not just censored by broadcasters. It is boxed in by toy shelves. Story arcs that would break characters are avoided. Transformation is bad for branding. Stability sells better. This commercial gravity pulls the show away from its origins. What begins as an anti-authoritarian sci-fi war story becomes a looped product engine. Children watch episodes but also reenact them endlessly with toys. The story freezes to accommodate that repetition. Narrative depth gives way to market durability. Fact number 2. Battle of the Planets indirectly sparks the later anime boom in the West. Fans grow up unsatisfied. They want answers. They search for originals. They discover uncut versions and new series that refuse to soften impact. This hunger fuels imports in the 80s and 90s. Shows that keep death grief and moral ambiguity intact find ready audiences. What began as censorship backlash becomes cultural momentum. Battle of the Planets does not fail its audience. It primes them. By withholding truth, it creates demand for it. The show becomes a missing link between eras, a bridge built from absence. Fact number 1. Battle of the Planets survives because it is incomplete. Its power comes from what it cannot say. The gaps invite imagination. The silence suggests loss. The edits create mystery. This is not how it was designed, but it is how it endures. Fans project meaning into empty spaces. They feel emotions the show never names. That unspoken weight becomes its legacy. Not a perfect adaptation, not a faithful one, but a catalyst. A reminder that even broken stories can change culture. Battle of the Planets looks like a simple cartoon. It is not. It is a battleground between fear and storytelling, between protection and honesty, between what children are shown and what they are ready to understand. If this video changed how you see childhood television, like and subscribe for more hidden histories.